Welcome to this week's episode of Watermark Equipment Tips. This week, we're going to be going over one of the most overlooked aspects of your process control equipment installation. They can add necessary safety features, functionality, and just overall make your equipment installation look clean. We're going to be talking about chemical tanks, specifically rotationally molded tanks. Diving into chemical containment tanks, specifically atmospheric tanks, we're going to be breaking it down into a couple of different sections. Firstly is going to be your size. Secondly would be material. Third, style of tank. Lastly will be features you may want to consider on the tank itself. Starting out with size, you really want to optimize how large or small the tank is. Small tanks will deplete quickly and require manual labor to refill them. That might be undesired. Conversely, a super large tank, they're more expensive, they take up more floor space, and you have product in that tank that's costly and it could be degrading over time or losing potency. So balancing that ratio so that you're getting the perfect blend of labor, chemical degradation, footprint, and overall cost is imperative. Our next stop is to discuss the material of your tank. I'm going to split the materials into two different criteria. You either have a thermoset or a thermoplastic. Thermosets, once manufactured, are fixed, very difficult to modify. You'd have to drill and use bulkhead fittings or some kind of gasket to seal and modify a tank. Thermoplastics are weldable. Once manufactured, they can still be modified to add certain features to them. Thermoset is basically going to be a cross-link polyethylene when it comes to chemical containment tanks. Thermoplastic would be linear polyethylene. Kynar is also a thermoplastic, and there are a couple more. Now we're getting into the style of the tank. There's a lot of different style of tanks. You can have a cone bottom tank, a single wall round tank, a dual wall square tank. The varieties are numerous. Choosing your style would largely depend on kind of what floor space you have to work with, what chemical you're working with, what process the tank is implemented in. There's a lot of different factors where you're mounting the pump. You might need a pump deck on the top of the tank itself or somewhere to rest it. If it doesn't have that, you need to mount your pump to the wall. So it's important to factor in what style tank is suited for your application. Lastly, we're going to be discussing some features that you may want to include on your chemical containment tank. These features might add a factor of safety or just convenience to your overall installation. A common feature is a level indicator. Specifically on a dual wall tank where you cannot actually see your liquid level, level indicator is going to give you a good gauge of how much chemicals in your tank. Another common feature would be a fill port. If you're using a transfer pump to get product into the tank when you're refilling, on large tanks specifically, where it's not safe to be reaching up and over and trying to pour chemical, you want a fill port that's at the right height, where it's safe to reach, easy to access, and you can do that process safely. There's a number of different features, mixers, you name it. But it's just important to factor that in before selecting the tank, as that may impact what product you want to get. There are a variety of other features you can add to your tank. I'll leave links in the video description if you're curious. Hopefully you got something good out of this video, something you'll consider the next time you're choosing your tank for your process. We'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.